Ukraine's Air Force is about to get a major upgrade with Swedish Gripen fighter jets heading their way. This announcement comes from Ukraine's Deputy Defense Minister, who confirmed these fourth-generation fighters will join F-16S and French Mirages already being delivered. Lieutenant General Ivan Havrilyuk told the BBC that Gripens are part of future Western military aid packages. He didn't give exact numbers or dates, but made clear these jets would soon be flying in Ukrainian skies. This matters because Ukraine's been flying Soviet-era aircraft for 3 years of war. These old planes can't match Russia's newer fighters or defend against modern missile attacks. The Gripen is different from other jets Ukraine's getting. It can operate from rough airfields and highways, needs less maintenance than F-16S, and carries advanced European missiles. Sweden hasn't publicly confirmed the transfer yet. They've only said they're open to selling Gripens after the war ends, but Ukraine's defense ministry seems confident deliveries will happen sooner. This comes as Denmark, Netherlands, and Norway are already delivering F-16S to Ukraine. France sent Mirage 2000 fighters last month, and Belgium's preparing their own F-16 shipments. But here's what makes the Gripen special for Ukraine's situation. These jets can take off from roads just 800 meters long, perfect for Ukraine's damaged AR fields. They carry Meteor missiles that can hit targets 190 kilometers away. That's twice the range of most Russian air-to-air missiles currently in US. Each Gripen costs about $85 million compared to $130 million for new F-16S. They need just 10 maintenance hours per flight hour, while F-16S needs 16. Ukraine's been preparing for Western jets since 2023. They've trained over 60 pilots in the US, UK, and France, built new maintenance facilities, and upgraded their air defense systems. The challenge is managing 3 different fighter types at once. F-16S use American weapons, Mirages use French systems, and Gripens use Swedish and European missiles. Lieutenant General Havrilyuk addressed this directly, saying Ukraine will create separate squadrons for each aircraft type. This avoids mixing incompatible systems while maximizing each jet's strengths. Russia's response has been predictable but telling. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Maria Zakharova called Western jets unacceptable foreign intervention and claimed they're using Ukraine as a testing ground for military developments. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov dismissed the impact, saying, "There's no panacea that can change the situation on the front." But Russia's moving more air defense systems to the border, suggesting they're taking this seriously. President Zelensky emphasized why these jets matter in recent statements. "Those with weapons decide who survives," he said, arguing Ukraine needs its own advanced weapons, not just promises. The timing isn't random either. Ukraine's launching more strikes deep into Russian territory, hitting oil refineries and military bases hundreds of miles from the border. These operations need fighter cover to protect drone operators and reconnaissance AI aircraft. Soviet-era MiGs can't provide that protection against modern Russian fighters. Sweden's $8.6 billion aid package for 2026 includes more than just potential Gripen sales. They're providing ammunition, air defense systems, and electronic warfare equipment. French President Macron went further at recent Paris talks. 26 European and Canadian countries are ready to contribute on land, in the sea, or in the air, to guarantee Ukraine's security. This represents a shift in European thinking about military aid. Initially, countries worried about escalation, but now they're sending their most advanced equipment. The numbers tell the real story here. Ukraine started the war with about 120 combat aircraft, mostly old Soviet models from the 1980s. They've lost around 90 aircraft so far, according to confirmed reports. Without Western jets, their air force would effectively cease to exist within months. The arriving Western jets could change those calculations completely. Ukraine expects to receive at least 85 F-16S, 24 Mirages, and potentially 16 to 20 Gripens. That's over 120 modern fighters, more than Ukraine's entire pre-war fleet. Each one is significantly more capable than the Soviet jets they're replacing. But integration takes time that Ukraine doesn't have. Pilots need 6 months minimum to convert to new aircraft types. Maintenance crews need specialized training, and bases need new equipment. Ukraine's solution has been running parallel programs. While some pilots train abroad, Others continue flying combat missions with existing AI aircraft. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz called Russia's war a war against our democracy and freedom. He argued Europe is no longer at peace, even if not directly at war. This explains why Sweden might deliver Gripens despite earlier hesitation. The threat isn't just to Ukraine anymore, but to European security overall. Russian President Putin claimed Russia is prevailing in this righteous battle and dismissed Western aid. But his military's actions suggest otherwise, repositioning forces to counter expected Western jet operations. The strategic implications go beyond just adding aircraft. These jets enable Ukraine to contest airspace Russia currently dominates, protect cities from missile attacks, and support ground operations more effectively. Former NATO commander James Stavridis called the Western fighter deliveries a potential game changer. He noted they could shift the air war's balance if properly integrated and employed. The real test comes when these jets enter combat. Russian S-400 air defense systems can theoretically engage targets 380 kilometers away, threatening Western jets deep inside Ukraine. But Gripen's electronic warfare capabilities were specifically designed to counter Russian systems. Their radar warning receivers and jamming pods could give Ukrainian pilots crucial advantages. Ukraine's developing a 20-year modernization plan that assumes de facto NATO integration. Getting Western jets now accelerates that timeline dramatically, pulling Ukraine into Western defense structures. This creates long-term commitments beyond the current war. Countries providing jets must supply spare parts, weapons, and training for decades ahead. President Trump recently suggested considering additional military aid to Ukraine, including advanced systems. His administration appears more open to expanded support as Russian negotiations stall. The bottom line is simple but significant. Ukraine's about to operate 3 different types of modern Western fighters simultaneously, something few air forces attempt even in peacetime. If they succeed, it proves Ukraine can integrate into NATO structures while fighting a major war. If they fail, it could undermine Western confidence in continued military support. For Russia, these jets represent their worst-case scenario coming true. NATO standard aircraft operating from Ukrainian bases, flown by Ukrainian pilots, attacking Russian forces with Western weapons. The coming months will show whether Ukraine can turn this complex mixture of aircraft into an effective fighting force. Their survival might depend on getting it right.